is good. Bridges shooting is just unbelievable.
And the Knicks red hot.
They have been an offensive juggernaut. Sloppy turnovers. Oh, what a pass from Anunoby, and Bridges with the finish.
The Cavs are beating themselves with help from the Knicks, make no mistake.
Brunson fakes, drives, gets inside. Lampy banks it home, and this is the largest lead of the game.
They're shooting the ball so well across the board that it can be demoralizing for the other team.
The Knicks are now 1 win away from their first finals appearance in 27 years.
You saw some New York alumni there in the game, and you got New York alumni joining the program now. Quentin Richardson, good morning to you, sir. All right, the Knicks have the Cavs on the brink. Jalen Brunson finished with a game-high 30. He is averaging 29 points a game in this series. How would you describe his level of play right now, Q?
I would describe it as he's playing at the MVP level right now in these playoffs. And right now in this series against the Cavs, he's really like at an MVP level, but he's playing against a team that can't stop him. I mean, I would dream to have that feeling to be in a series, in a big-time series, to make it to the NBA Finals where I'm playing against a team that can't stop me and I'm playing at a high level. And that's life right now for Jalen Brunson. He's genuinely living the dream, being the captain for the Knicks, being a lead player, and being in a series where they can't stop him, and he's having his way.
They can't stop him. Nobody can stop New York. They won 10 straight games now at this point in this playoff. Meanwhile, the Cavs on the verge of being swept in this best of 7 for the 4th time in franchise history. What did you make of Cleveland's overall showing in Game 3 on their home court?
They lack the sense of urgency for the scenario. For them to be down 0-2 on their home court with a chance to try and get back into the series, they didn't have the energy and the effort that I needed to see from them. You needed to see all out effort, like playing with like nothing else matters. Like this was a game 4, like it was a shutout game for them, and they didn't deliver on the energy side of it. I can accept, guys not shooting the ball well, guys not playing their best, but the energy level should have been chaotic. It should have been an all-out sense of urgency to try and, get back into this thing, and it wasn't there.
You and their head coach, Kenny Atkinson, agree. He said post-game, we couldn't match their physicality, and we didn't match their energy. So that leads to this question. Do the Knicks get it done Game 4 tomorrow night and sweep the Cavs out of this playoffs?
I believe so, yeah. I don't have a broom right here with me. It's in the pantry, in the laundry room, in the pantry somewhere. But if I had a broom, I would have it out right now. I do believe the Knicks will sweep them and make it to the NBA Finals, and the Knicks fans will go into instant pandemonium. Well-deserved pandemonium.
We'll set up a day with either the Thunder or the Spurs in the NBA Finals, a place the New York Knicks haven't been since 1999. Game 4, we'll find out. Monday night,
Orange and blue skies.
On ESPN. Q said it. Much appreciated, sir. We'll see you soon.
The Knicks take a 3-0 series lead over the Cavaliers here inside Rocket Arena. I'm here with SNY NBA insider Ian Begley. And Ian, the Knicks become the 7th team in NBA history to go on a 10-game win streak on a postseason run. I mean, unbelievable that they're here now. What does this say about the level of play, the quality of play, the domination that they're playing with in this series?
Yeah, you go back to that last game they lost. It was Game 3 in Atlanta, and things really flipped there. And the interesting thing to me is they're kind of playing in the way that the front office probably envisioned when they started to make moves after signing Jalen Brunson, because then you make the Josh Hart trade, the OG Anunoby trade, the Karl Towns trade, the trade for Mikal Bridges. All those guys just had their fingerprints all over this 10-game win streak, including, Game 3, Bridges continuing to play at a really high level. Anunoby looking very strong coming off of that hamstring injury. Towns distributing the ball well again, and Hart being the connector that he is. This is just the way I guess Leon Rose thought this thing would come together all that time ago.
They're getting a little bit of everything from everyone. Let's talk more about Mikal. 22 points in Game 3, 6 rebounds. I mean, what have you been seeing from him? He just looks like he's playing his best basketball right now. Yeah,
I mean, I'll go back to, again, Game 3 against Atlanta, where he struggled, 0 for 4 turnovers, and we talked to him afterward. He said, look, I just have to take the criticism and come back, and he's come back in a big way, obviously. Josh Hart made an interesting point about Bridges and maybe players in general, where you go into the playoffs, it's just about winning. Nothing else matters. You're not worried about shots. You're not worried about touches. your mentality shifts to just to focus on winning. We were asking him about McHale, and so McHale, obviously, he's shown himself to be a playoff riser here yet again, second straight postseason for the Knicks.
Yeah, really great point by Josh Hart. But now the Knicks are focusing on winning this series, and they're just one win away. What do they have to do to close this one out on Monday and advance to their first finals since 1999?
Yeah, it seems like just the same formula that you've seen in 3 games. Obviously, 3 games haven't been identical, but they've been balanced on both ends of the floor and played really well defensively. That Cleveland bench, I thought they were going to come out of that shooting slump that they've been in, but they did not, at least not in a big way. So I guess you still want to maintain neutralizing the bench and just put the ball in Jalen Brunson's hands at the end of the day, because that seems to be working pretty well.
For sure. And the Cavaliers, I mean, they look gassed, really.
Yeah.
They look like they do need some rest, but if the Knicks do end up sweeping them, they'll get some rest, because you can only imagine that OKC Spurs series will go longer than 4 or 5 games. So we'll see if the Knicks can close this one out on Monday.
Stilo, the Knicks never trailed in Game 3. Their largest lead was 17. How surprised are you with how dominant they were?
Really not all that surprised, Michelle, even playing in the not-so-friendly confines of the arena there in Cleveland, just because I hate to say, this is what we've come to expect from this Knicks team, watching the way that they have really elevated their game here in the postseason. And I can't say I'm surprised, because when I was here with JJ previewing this series last weekend, I said I thought it was going to go 5 at most and potentially looking at a sweep. We took some heat for that from the people in Cleveland. Well, I think we're seeing the way it's playing out here so far. So look, I think it comes down to the Cavs just don't have enough answers for the Knicks and their depth, which has just been showed off game in, game out. Obviously, game 1 took them a while to get going. Brunson took over late, but I think games 2 and 3 is a lot more of what we would have expected, because the Knicks are getting contributions up and down the lineup. It's not just 1 or 2 guys. They've been incredibly efficient offensively, and you're seeing that tenacious defense show up at times. Yeah, the Cavs had some runs to get themselves back into the game, tied it a couple times, but the Knicks never falling behind. And every time the Cavs did make that run where you thought maybe they're ready to seize control behind their home crowd, the Knicks had an answer, another stop, a big 3 to let them know, no, you're not going to get on the board in this series. We're going to win this game.
Yeah, CeeLo, you nailed it. The Cavs don't have enough to hang with the Knicks. That's all there is to it at this point. And look, I think that the series was over after Game 1, because that was such a gut shot to Cleveland, the way the Knicks came back and took control there. And now they're just out-talenting them. And look, I mean, never trailed is pretty interesting little factoid there on a first home court in this series for the Cavaliers, and they can't even get the lead one time in the game. And you made another good point with the contributions up and down the lineup from the Knicks, because they can try to stop Brunson, but if they can't stop Brunson, then he gets 30 like he did in Game 3. And then if you try to stop Brunson, then Josh Hart has the Josh Hart game. And, they've got other options to do a lot of different things to beat you. So this is another example of Knicks playing supreme team basketball once again. And, they shot the lights out. They hit their foul shots. They're in a class by themselves now in this conference.
Well, you make some good points. All 5 starters in double figures, but huge contributions from OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges. Anthony, how important are the contributions outside of Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony?
Yeah, they're enormous. I mean, you mentioned the 2 stars, so those are the guys that you look to when the game begins. Are these guys going to dominate? And when they don't for the Knicks, that's okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, Cat had a very nice game tonight, close to a triple-double, but it's not like he, exploded. Brunson gave them 30. But guys like Josh Hart, he is, heart and soul type. You know what I mean? Yeah. The relentless rebounding, the incredible hustle, the swag, all of that stuff counts in these big games, in these big situations. And so, plus the post-game quotes are hilarious when he's dealing in that regard too. So they get so many guys like that. Hart to me is the one who stands out on an almost nightly basis, flying on the floor to get loose balls, all that kind of stuff.
And the lack of ego, which he referenced after game number 2, and that's been on full display. I mean, look, we know it's a team full of talent, but this time of year, it's got to be selfless basketball. And I think the Hart situation in game 2, responding to the benching in game 1. And in the bigger picture for me, it's what Mikal Bridges continues to do since those first 2 games of the first round series against Atlanta, where we were legitimately talking about him having to be taken out of the starting lineup because he was struggling so much and he was a liability, to the point now where he's so incredibly efficient shooting the basketball on the offensive end of the floor. And it's the opposite of what we see in today's NBA. It's the 2-point game. It's the mid-range jumper. It's the floater. I mean, he's just been unbelievable unbelievable offensively, making smart plays, winning plays. You know what you're going to get from him on the defensive end of the floor with his energy, his tenaciousness, his ability to come away with steals. To me, he has just really responded to the criticism and a bad run at the start of the playoffs. Confidence could have been shaken easily. Put all that aside, short memory, the way he's played since tail end of the Atlanta series, the entire Sixers series, and now what we've seen in these first 3 games here against the Cavaliers. Can't say enough about the way he's responded. Maybe it'll never be worth the 5 first round picks they gave up, but if they win a championship,
I mean, they're 1 game away from the finals.
Right.
He's already worth it.
If they win a championship and he contributes the way he has been these last 2.5 series, and we'll see what happens against whoever they're going to face in the West when they get there. I can't say enough about the job he's done.
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20, and they're all just clicking on all cylinders. Quickly here, CeeLo, Game 4 is Monday in Cleveland. Does this series come back to New York?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess if the Knicks feel like, hey, I'm going to take the foot off the gas pedal a little bit here, we'll come back home, we'll enjoy it in front of the Garden crowd. But they got enough Knicks fans in these road games as well. You heard it was on display again in Cleveland here in game number 3. I agree with Anthony. It felt like the series ended with what happened in game 1. I know they still have to go out there and physically play these basketball games, but there's so much confidence for the Knicks right now. I have a hard time thinking they're not going to finish it in 4.
Yeah, me too. And we were enjoying the shots of the old-timey Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
The fellas were there as well and enjoying it. And so that's enough, I think, in terms of fan support, including the other fans that were in the arena as well, for them to just finish it in Game 4.